The gateway to Gaildorf, one of the finest motocross circuits in the world and the setting for the 1985 Motocross Nations. Teams from 21 countries, as far apart as Norway in the north and Australia in the south, from the USA in the west and Czechoslovakia in the east, are united for a weekend in their passion for the sport and their desire to be champions of the world. This year, the title's more important than ever. In the past, the World Team Championships have been decided over 3 different events, in 3 different countries, producing 3 different champions. Now there's a new format. For the first time, 125cc riders will be racing on the same track at the same time as both 250 and 500 racers, and there'll be just one winning team. No one knew exactly how the new system would work out, how the smaller bikes would cope with the awesome power of the 500s. But any doubts were soon dispelled in the early practice sessions, which produced a body blow for Britain, but underlined the USA's status as favourites. After practice was over, we spoke to America's 125 representative, Ron Lechien.
It's going real well. We just got back from practice, and I have 7th fastest time. Feel real good out there. I'm riding 125 against some 500 and 250s, and a little low on horsepower, but I think I'll do well against the other 125s.
How's this Gaildorf track suited to racing a 125?
Well, it's pretty fast. I think with a little more horsepower it'd be a little better. The 500 and 250s, it's a lot of straightaways you get into the top gears, and 125 goes pretty good. Some tight stuff. I think the bike works a little better than maybe the big bikes, but there's just can't match them going down those big long straightaways.
Yeah. And what do you think the chances are of the American team?
I think it's real good. We have the 1st, 2nd, and 7th fastest time, and I'm sure if there's no problems, we'll take the win.
Everybody drafted into the team at the last minute. How are things going so far?
You know, I wanted to come here in the first place, and Brock was pretty much doing better than I was in the States, and at the time they made up their minds who they wanted to bring, and then he got hurt, and once I found out, it was pretty much of a surprise, you know, but I've actually been here for a few days now, and I'm recouped to the time where in 1982 I wasn't. And race day I was pretty tired. You know, Roger was running around going, well, take this, maybe you can stay awake. But everything feels really good. I like, you know, the bike I'm riding is my own, where last time it wasn't. And I guess my lap times so far in practice are right up to par with everyone else's, and maybe the fastest from what I heard, and I'm real comfortable so far. So just have to see what happens. This format is a lot different. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens. My main concern is probably since I'm on the 500, I'll be in the back row a couple of times. And with that many riders going off the line at the same time, I wouldn't expect myself to be in the top 10 on the first lap unless I did some pretty big cheating on the back section to cut the course. But I think just get enough points so we have a solid foundation. And if anybody has a bad moto, then they can rely on my finish, you know, even if it's nothing great, just a 6th or a 7th if I could get up, you know, that far. But yeah, I would like to win it. I'm sure Ronnie and Jeff would also. But the main thing is just earn points and be real consistent through all those races and not fall down and break the bike or anything.
So Jeff Ward, fastest in practice. Obviously this Gaildorf track's fairly to your liking.
Yeah, it's really fast and our bike's running really well, so there's some pretty good lines out there that I have down, so everything's running really well right now.
Is there a particular advantage here on a 250, or do you think you're at a disadvantage?
So far it seems to be pretty good. I got fast lap time, but start is going to be pretty important. It's really long, and the 500 I think will probably be out front, and I think through some of the tight corners and probably catch them, it's going to be real difficult to get them on the uphill straightaways, and there's going to be a lot of roost from the bikes getting thrown, so you're not going to be able to follow them on the best line, so it's going to be a really interesting race.
What are the team tactics going to be?
Well, our team's just going to try to do the best that they can and just kind of individual as it starts off, and then we'll settle down and see where we're at and then see what kind of team effort we got to do. But basically we're just going to go out there and race 100% as ourselves, and that usually will, you know, gives us the championship.
And what do you think of your chances?
Very good. I think the only thing that would stop us from winning would be having 2 of our bikes break, or 2 of the riders getting hurt and one of the motos not be able to ride, and something really tragic probably. But other than that, all of us are riding really well, so I don't see any problems.
And individually, you think it's possible to win races on the 250?
Yeah, I think I could, depending on my start, I need to get a good start, but one of us is going to have to start in the back row with 62 riders, and it's going to be a lot of work to get up front. So definitely, I know I can win the moto. I'm running the fastest, so all I got to be is up front, and I can do that. But for mid-pack, it's going to be tough. I'll just salvage what I can and, win the 250 class and get the 1 point that we need.
Dave thought Britain's chances taken rather a knock this afternoon. Just what happened?
Well, like when I was going around in practice, I see the yellow flags out, and as I went by, I could see it was Kurt. So I stopped immediately and went and saw him, and it was obvious that Kurt had broke his leg, which was really, really depressing, because although I race a lot against Kurt, I regard him as probably one of my best friends in motocross, and I myself have broke my leg, and I know exactly what Kurt was thinking and what he was saying, and I must confess it's put me to a real low this weekend, because it's difficult to concentrate when you think of Kurt in hospital having an operation or whatever. So right now I'm really sort of cheesed off, but I'm sure Kurt will want us to carry on and try and do well, so we'll try and do our best.
So you're left with 2 men now in the team. What are the tactics going to be?
Well, hopefully I'll get myself back in order by tomorrow, and my only attitude is to stuff the Americans and try and beat them. That's all I can do.
So you'll be going all out for victory?
Yeah, this is probably my only chance all year to actually try and beat the Americans, because there's no pressure on me now, and with a bit of luck I think we can probably beat them.
Just how strong is this American team?
Well, like David and Jeff and Ronnie. I don't know so much about Ronnie, but Jeff and David, very, very good riders, very strong physically and mentally, and very smooth and aggressive in their riding. So they're going to be really tough to beat. Especially if they get a good start, then it's going to be very, very difficult, but hopefully I should be able to crack them.
And what about this track here at Gaildorf? How does it suit you?
Well, right now the ground's a bit hard for me. I think it favours the Yanks at the moment, because the ground is really, really hard. But hopefully tonight we might have a bit of rain, and it might soften the ground up a bit, make it a bit more tacky. I personally prefer a bit more dirt on it, but even so, I'm not slow at the moment, so I'm quite happy.
And do you really think there's much of a chance for the British team?
No, I don't think I think it's impossible for us to win as a team now, because like the 125s is a disadvantage from the racer 125 round here. Like the 500s can pass them up the hills easy, but we just got to put on a good show and just keep the flag flying, so to speak.
You'll be trying for a consolation win yourself.
Well, yeah, that's all I can do now. I just got to go out there and really give it all.
The rolling German pastures of Gaildorf, venue for the 1985 Motocross Nations. These World Team Championships have been dominated for the last 4 years by the USA. But this time, the British team, led by world champion Dave Thorpe, had high hopes of toppling the Americans from their pedestal. Unfortunately, those hopes were dashed within 2 laps of the first practice session when Kurt Nickel crashed, breaking his thigh. So, with the British team down to just 2 men, all eyes will be on the Americans as they bid for win number 5.
All the pomp and pageantry of a top sporting event. The local lovelies and flags of all nations being shot into the air out of a cannon. The crowds line the track for the presentation. There, the favourites, America, David Bailey, Ron Lechien and Jeff Ward. The British contingent, Rob Andrews and World 500 champion, David Thorpe. The Dutch there led by Kees van der Ven, and the Austrians with their world champion, Heinz Kinnegadner. As the local team, the favourites of Germany and World 125 champion, Pekka Vähkönen from Finland. Moments anticipation as they wait for the riders to come out to start the first race. As the first drops of rain start to fall, and there's David Bailey, America's #1, comes out to line up on that start gate. Starting positions decided by ballot, but each of the 21 nations getting a fair crack of the whip. Evenly distributed along the start gate, which will be falling in a few moments' time to start the 1985 Motocross des Nations. A lot hinges on this race. Many people have said that the format won't work, but these men are out to prove it will. Last-minute adjustments there to the chest guard of David Bailey, who's become pretty much a European favourite since he first came over here 3 years ago at this very track. Just clearing out the engine to make sure there's no last-minute fluffs when that gate drops. All these riders have a routine they go through. There's Britain's Rob Andrews looking at the start gate as they prepare for the start. Down it goes, and the whole field cleanly away, putting on the power. It's so important, that first corner, and into the first turn. It's David Thorpe in second place. Kees van der Ven is third. And Rob Andrews 3/4 of the way back, and there's a pile up there. Number 3, that's the American Ron Lechien on the 125 Honda as they blast up the hill for the first time. 30 minutes plus 2 laps lie ahead of them, and it's David Thorpe in the lead for Britain. High into the air as they leap across the jump for the first time. Thorpe followed by Bailey. Bailey's tags of his camel bib flowing in the wind behind him. Third is Van der Ven, and in fourth place that's Jeff Ward on the 250 Kawasaki. Thorpe followed by Bailey. Ward in third spot, and there's a faller there. Someone's bitten the dust and staggering about very groggily indeed. Number 12, that's the Dutchman Davy Strybos, so very nearly World 125 champion this year. But Thorpe in a commanding lead already, showing the style which has taken him to his first World 500cc championship. Superb action on this natural German grassy track, very much like the tracks we have in England, which is why it's obviously suiting Dave Thorpe so much. That's Strybos on the Honda. And there's Ron Lechien fighting back through the field after that first corner tumble, which cost him dear. Dave Thorpe leads David Bailey, and that's Jeff Ward in third place on the Kawasaki. And on another Kawasaki, local lad Roland Deepol. That's Pekka Vähkönen from Finland on the Kajiva. And that's the battle for the lead again, and Bailey's in the lead. It's Bailey from Thorpe with Jeff Ward on the Kawasaki still hanging on in third place. Jeff Ward managing to keep on terms with these two 60 brake horsepower 500s, and Ward takes second. Ward up into second place as number 17, Anders Eriksson from Sweden, sweeps past. That's Trevor Williams from Australia for the first time in the competition this year. And Davy Strybos from Holland, a massive leap there from this talented youngster. But in the lead, it's David Bailey from Jeff Ward and David Thorpe. Three great rivals these. That's Heinz Kinnigadner, 250 world champion, and Roland Deepol once more. 15 is Pekka Vähkönen from Finland. A duo of Dutchmen there side by side as Ron Lechien continues to fight his way back through the field. He had a disastrous first lap, you remember, down in 30th place at the end of it, as David Bailey once more into the lead, and Thorpe's recaptured his second position. 55, that's Jackie Vimont from France on his Yamaha, famous for his pink pants. Pink Panther, they call him. There's not a trace of pink on this man, David Bailey. Superb style there from this all-action American. 24 years old and been a champion for most of those years. Now this is the critical time in the race as the fast men come through to lap some of the back markers, as Bailey and Thorpe get through cleanly. Vekkonen, World 125 champion. He took that title this year by beating Dave Strybos, but not with one-wheel landings like that. That's Dave Strybos there and his Dutch teammate Gert-Jan van Doorn. That's Williams from Australia and Jukka Sintonen from Finland, followed by Lacker from Germany. And 56 is Olivier Perriand from France, as Ron Lechien keeps on fighting. He won't give up until that checkered flag comes out. And there's the battle for the lead, and it's Dave Thorpe back in front once more. Back in the driving seat for the British team captain, Dave Thorpe. He knows he's got his work cut out if the British team are to stand any chance at all. And he knows too that in the final reckoning, if Britain aren't up there, it won't be through any lack of effort on his part. That's fourth man Kees van der Ven and Heinz Kinnigadner in fifth place, the World 250 champion. Just look at that style there from Lechien, a natural racer out of the American School of Stadium Cross. As Thorpe, resplendent in his world champion's gold pants, continues to lead. That's Rob Andrews, Britain's number 2. He was way down the field to start with, but he won't give up, that's for sure. With only 2 men, Britain needs every score to count. Both men have to finish all 3 races. Trevor Williams from Australia and Ron Lechien. As Dave Thorpe wends his way ever onwards towards that checkered flag. Jeff Ward now challenging hard, and Bailey back in 3rd spot as they cross the jump which marks the finish line here at Gaildorf. Rob Andrews, and he's being pressed extremely hard there by Jackie Martins, talented Belgian on the KTM. Thorpe on his immaculate Works Honda. State-of-the-art motocross machine. From Bailey in 2nd place, he's now pulled out a bit of a lead, and Kees van der Ven is 3rd, and Jeff Ward's in trouble. Ward now back down to 5th place, as Ron Lechien holds 9th spot, a remarkable achievement considering that first bend fall, which put him back in 30th. Thorpe leads. Bailey 2nd. 3rd place, it's Kees van der Ven. And that's Jeff Ward. Number 5, Jackie Martins on the KTM from France. Just look at this, a study in style, the different ways of taking that jump. That's Dave Strybos, one of the most exciting prospects to come out of Holland in recent years. They've been in the doldrums of motocross a little bit. And Lechien has taken Williams. He's got by the Australian and continues his progress through the field. For Thorpe, there's no more progress to be had. He's out in front, he's in the driving seat, and he's not going to let a lead like that slip away. Thorpe, been racing now for 16 years, knows every trick in the book, and he's afraid of nobody. That's World 250 champion Heinz Kinnigadner and Ward. Ward back now into 5th spot, ahead of Jackie Martins. Kees van der Ven, feet off the footrests, super playing to the crowd style. And Jeff Ward, wiry little chap. His father's an expatriate Scotsman, settled in America. And Ward's now America's 250 champion. 15 on the Kajiva, that's Pekka Vähkönen. World 125 champion in rather surprising circumstances this year. But there's the 125 man they all want to beat, Ron Lechien. He said beforehand he thought he could win the race here today. But there's the man that's out to stop him, and everybody else, Dave Thorpe. And his namesake, David Bailey. David Bailey's father was one of the pioneers of American motocross and still involved heavily in the sport. They call him the professor because he runs so many schools. That's Jackie Vimond, number 55 from France on a Yamaha. Taking the wrong line round that bend. Vimond obviously getting tired after 30 minutes on this grueling West German track. And the checkered flag being made ready, and Dave Thorpe takes the checkered flag to win the first leg of the Motocross des Nations for Britain. So, the 500cc results: first, David Thorpe from Britain; second, America's David Bailey; third, Kees van der Ven from Holland, with Heinz Kinnegadner fourth from Austria, Jackie Vimond fifth, and František Soldat from Czechoslovakia in sixth position. In the 250 class, it's America's Jeff Ward first, Jackie Martins of Belgium second, Roland Diepold of Germany third, fourth is Michele Rinaldi of Italy, fifth Anders Eriksson of Sweden, and sixth Gert-Jan van Doorn of Holland. Pekka Vähkönen from Finland's the 125cc class winner, followed by Davy Strybos from Holland, Ron Lechien from America, Peter Kovar of Czechoslovakia, Dietmar Lacker from Germany, and Glenn Bell of Australia. So with 1/3 of the proceedings over, the USA already had a commanding lead, with 6 points from a first, a second and a third place in the three classes. But there was little time to reflect on that as they lined up for race number 2. Into the first bend, and it's Kees van der Ven who gets a flying start from the outside there. And once again, Ron Lechien finding the lack of power down that start straight a definite disadvantage, and it's the same story again. David Bailey leads David Thorpe, and not such a good start there for Jeff Ward, who had a terrible start on his Kawasaki. High-speed traffic jam there as they go through this first series of bends, and that's the Portuguese rider Carlos Correia there, having a bit of a problem with his Kajiva. 56 is Olivier Perriand, having trouble too. And that's Glenn Bell on the 125 Yamaha, the Australian rider. He's in trouble early on as well. But these two aren't in trouble as David Thorpe leads David Bailey from Kees van der Ven and World 250 champion Heinz Kinnegadner on the KTM. Jackie Vimond in 6th place, followed by Jeff Ward, who's obviously recovered from that poor start. Super study in style there as they crest that rise. Back end swapping there, David Thorpe hangs on to his lead. But I think he could have problems in this race from the chasing trio behind him. Ron Lechien, number 3. And Dave Thorpe out in front. That's Jackie Vimond on the Yamaha. And 31 is Trevor Williams from Australia. Ron Lechien battling hard, but out in front it's David Thorpe. David Bailey in 2nd spot and Kees van der Ven pressing really hard. So it's Thorpe, Bailey, van der Ven, Kinnegadner, and that's Italian Michele Magarotto on the Kawasaki. And another Kawasaki man there, Jeff Ward, behind Jackie Vimond from France. 12, Davy Strybos. And 14 there, Kurt Lundqvist from Finland. As Dave Thorpe holds on to his slender lead, it's Kees van der Ven up into 2nd spot. Nobody really expected this sort of form from van der Ven, who's been racing 125 KTMs all year. And he's something of a sand specialist, really, like many of his compatriots in Holland. Thorpe from Bailey and van der Ven back now into 3rd spot again. This is a terrific race at the front. That's Gert-Jan van Doorn on the 250 Honda. The Dutch perhaps the surprises of this competition. And that's Davy Strybos, their 125 man, only 17 years old. And there's Rob Andrews, a gutsy ride from the British 125 contender, not used to riding a 125. And there's Dave Thorpe in the lead, followed by Van der Ven, and Kinney Gardner's up into third spot. Obviously Bailey hit some trouble, perhaps just unable to stand the pace at the front. Strybos once more, Jackie Vimor and Ronnie Lechien, superb stadium specialist in the States, but seemingly just at home on these natural tracks. That's Thorpe, Van der Ven and Bailey back up into third place. He's retaken Kinney Gardner, and Jeff Ward's pressing Kinney Gardner really hard. He's going to make a... That's Gert-Jan van Doorn from Holland, the 250 contender of that team. And there's Pekka Vekkonen and Davy Strybos, the World 125 Championship battle all over again. Ronnie Lechien of the States chases Belgian Jackie Martins. They're battling for 6th spot. But out at the front, there's David Bailey trying to get back on terms with the leaders. David Thorpe out in front, the most difficult thing to do. Lead a race from the front. And Jeff Ward in 4th place, still battling to keep on terms. Michele Magorotto, the magic written on the back of his pants. And on some tracks he is, as the leading 3 keep up their battle for supremacy. And Van der Ven makes his move, but he's shut out at the moment. He's trying again, no. Thorpe still leads. Van der Ven still in 2nd place. Gert-Jan van Doorn from Holland. And Dave Strybos, followed by Ron Lechien. And at the front, Dave Thorpe and Kees van der Ven. Very much a 2-horse race now. Thorpe will be going for a trio of wins here. He said all he can do is go out and try and win every race. Crowned 500cc world champion just 2 weeks before this race. And look at the closeness of that battle. Dave Thorpe and Kees van der Ven, side by side as they fight to the finish. Look at that action, superb. Leaning on each other, neither giving any quarter. Bailey 3rd, and Jeff Ward now up into 4th place. He's relegated Kinney Gardner. Van der Ven, Bailey, just sneaking past that back marker. Through the avenues of trees here in Germany. Ronnie Lechien bettering a back marker. He doesn't want to get held up as he charges through the field. A difficult task on a 125 on a circuit as fast as this one. Dave Thorpe still leads, Kees van der Ven still 2nd. And David Bailey still clinging on to that 3rd spot, but being pressed hard by Jeff Ward, his teammate but Kawasaki rival. That's Thorpe, that's Kees van der Ven and Bailey, followed by Ward. Gert-Jan van Doorn and Davy Strybos, his teammate there. Ron Lechien, and back to the leader, David Thorpe. One of the best motocrossers Britain's ever produced, leading one of the best ever produced in Holland. Ron Lechien glances over his shoulder to see what's happening behind him. What's happening is Davy Strybos is threatening him hard. 2 125s there, fighting it out. It'll be a fight to the finish for them. The Americans always want to beat the established Grand Prix stars. That's why they're all out to beat that man, David Thorpe, who seems to have opened out a bit of an advantage now over Kees van der Ven. David Bailey still in 3rd place, and Jeff Ward 4th on the Kawasaki. Ronnie Lechien up now into 5th place and Davy Strybos in 6th. It's Van Dorn. And back now with the leader. David Thorpe, 22 years of age. Same age as that man, Jeff Ward. Trying to outjump each other, the two 125 men, Ronnie Lechien and Davy Strybos. Davy Strybos now tells everybody he wants to be known as Dave because he's grown up, he's 18 now, getting to be quite an old timer. Van der Ven in 2nd spot, still trying to keep on terms with Dave Thorpe. Now's the critical time of the race. Dave Thorpe will be getting tired, having led for so long, and Van der Ven will be determined to take advantage of that. Jeff Ward still piling on the pressure on the Kawasaki. And Ron Lechien, determined to be the best 125 rider at the Motocross the Nations. Van Dorn. 250 Honda rider. His aim, he said before the race, was just to try and beat one of the Americans. And he's not managed to do that so far, and neither's Jackie Vimont. There's Rob Andrews. He'll be getting tired now after keeping that 125 Kawasaki flat out throughout the race. Dave Thorpe leads Kees Van der Ven in the closing stages of this race. They'll both be getting tired, and Van der Ven's in the lead. Van der Ven's made his move, he's got past Dave Thorpe, and he's leading the race. Has Thorpe got enough time to get back on terms? That's the question. And no, he hasn't, because there's the checkered flag. Kees Van der Ven wins from Dave Thorpe. So the 500cc result is Van der Ven first, followed by Thorpe, Bailey, Magarotto from Italy, Jackie Vimond of France, and Soren Mortensen of Denmark. In the 250 class, it's Jeff Ward of America, followed by Van Dorn from Holland, Diepold from Germany, Jackie Martins of Belgium, Michael Harnden from Canada, and Zdeněk Spacek of Czechoslovakia. In the 125s, it's Ron Lechien from America, followed by Dave Strybos of Holland, Peter Kovar from Czechoslovakia, Dietmar Lacker of Germany, Corrado Matti from Italy, and Karl Sulzer from Austria. So with one race to go, the Americans still have a commanding lead. They're on 11 points, but the Netherlands team still is in with a shout. They've got 16 points, with Czechoslovakia third on 40 points, and Britain unfortunately down in 15th position with 24 points, but remember, only 2 of their riders count. So, on the line for race number 3, in the middle there, Ron Lechien on the 125 Honda, representing America. Tense moments always before a start. The clutch is in, it's in gear, they're waiting for the starter to give his signal, he does, and they're away. 21 teams blast into the first corner, and it's Kees Van der Ven at the front of the pack again, followed by David Thorpe as they all round the first turn safely. It's Van der Ven, followed by Thorpe, with Michele Magarotto in third and Jeff Ward in fourth. But what's happened to Bailey? There he is. He'll have started this time from the second row of the grid, and he'll have had all that traffic to fight his way through on the first couple of laps. Everybody's under the same trouble in at least one of these races. And this time it's Bailey who's got his work cut out. So in the lead, it's Kees Van der Ven, Dave Thorpe, Michele Magarotto, and Jeff Ward from America. Ron Lechien there on the 125 Honda, taking somebody in the air. He's afraid of nobody, this 18-year-old American. That's Rob Andrews, 14th in his class in the first race, 7th in race 2. But that's Kees Van der Ven leading Dave Thorpe. Thorpe won't be happy with that state of affairs. He'll be determined to gain his revenge for that second race defeat. But where are the other two Americans? There's Ron Lechien, and behind him David Bailey. They won't be happy with that at all, as David Thorpe is back into the lead. Thorpe leads Van der Ven. He said between the races he thought he'd had more time in that second race to take Van der Ven back. He got his pit signals messed about, and he was left with no time to get back on terms. There's David Bailey. He's taken 2 places on that 1 lap, and he'll be fighting back through the field to get on terms with these men. David Thorpe, the World 500 champion, and Kees van der Ven from Holland. 3rd place man Jeff Ward. And in 4th, it's Michele Magarotto from Italy. It's number 14, Kurt Lundqvist on the Yamaha from Finland. David Thorpe. No nonsense about him, no histrionics, no acting, just straightforward, getting on with the business of winning races. That's Dave Thorpe's philosophy, and that's just what he does. David Bailey battling back to get on terms with the leaders. But Dave Thorpe, I think this time he's not going to make the mistake that he made in the second race. Already he's opened out a convincing lead on Kees van der Ven, who's ahead of Jeff Ward, and there's Michele Magarotto in 4th place. Taking place at the end of the season, this Motocross the Nations, it's always the last chance for riders to impress the factories with a view to 1986 contract time. Ron Lechien, of course, will be next year joining this man, Jeff Ward, in the Kawasaki team in America, but he's got no plans to contest the Grand Prix in Europe. Lechien, followed by Jukka Sintonen, Finnish Husqvarna rider, and David Bailey on the Honda. Gert-Jan van Doorn on the 250 Honda from the Netherlands side. And Dave Thorpe out in front, as befits the world champion. Jeff Ward in 3rd place. And Magarotto in 4th. Magarotto, a good showing at the British Grand Prix at Farley Castle this year. That's Sintonen, and that's David Bailey. 22 is Soren Mortensen of Denmark on the 500 Kawasaki. But that's the leader, Dave Thorpe. From Bracknell, Berkshire. A long way away from this man, Jeff Ward, from the United States. A massive crowd at Gaildorf, braving the elements. Rain during the second race, which seems to have cleared up for this last encounter of the 1985 Motocross the Nations, as Kees van der Ven holds on to 2nd spot, Jeff Ward in 3rd. Ronnie Lechien there, with yet another rider in his sights. One thing these Americans aren't afraid of is passing people. They're taught that in the rough, tough, hurly-burly of American Stadium Cross. Short races where they've got no second chance. That's Dave Thorpe from Kees van der Ven. Van der Ven thought for many years to be just a sand specialist who couldn't cope with these sort of hard, grassy tracks. But he's disproving anybody who still thinks that today. That's German Roland Diepold on the Kawasaki. He's been one of the surprises of this event. David Bailey. But out in front, it's Dave Thorpe, with a substantial lead over Kees van der Ven. 3rd man, Jeff Ward. So Dave Thorpe leads. As he goes round one loop, that's Ron Lechien up into 5th place on his Works 125 Honda. Many people said this format of having all the classes racing together wouldn't work, but Ron Lechien's proved that it can. In 5th place, he's ahead of David Bailey on a Works 500 Honda, a remarkable achievement. So Dave Thorpe leads, Kees van der Ven there, not having such a good ride. He's in 2nd place, Jeff Ward is 3rd. And that's Michele Magarotto in 4th place, ahead of Lechien. Roland Deepole down in 10th place, as Dave Thorpe forges ahead at the front. Round the tight turns that slow them down just before that leap, which marks the finish line. Kees van der Ven on the KTM in 2nd place. Jeff Ward 3rd. An all-action style from Ronnie Lechien, who's fighting to try and get that 4th place from Magarotto. If he puts the pressure on, Magarotto could well crack. He's known to be excitable, like most of his compatriots, and he doesn't stand up to the pressure all that well. If Lechien can get him in his sights, he could be in business. But there's Ward in a safe 3rd place now. He won't be risking anything to try and get into the lead. You know, he and Lechien are both quite well aware that their placings will be good enough to give America the title for the 5th time in a row. Now that's Dietmar Lacker from Germany on the 125 KTM, and his result could be vital to their fortunes. If he can hold on to that 14th place, Germany could just finish 3rd overall. The overall result calculated on the team's 6 best performances out of the 9 results. So the winner in each class gets 1 point, second man 2 points, and so on down the field. But although all the classes are being run in one race, for the purposes of the results, it might just as well be 3 separate races. David Thorpe, his individual score will be excellent, but it won't be enough for Britain. But Kees van der Ven's excellent results will probably be enough to give Netherlands the runner-up placing. Unfortunately, there's no doubt about who's going to win. America look destined to get 5 first places. They'll be dropping probably a 3rd place and a 4th place out of their result, and there's no doubt whatsoever that they're going to win it. You have to hand it to them. They come over here, they're superbly organised, superb riders, the machinery's excellent, and they've got just the right skills that are needed to become world team champions. So Dave Thorpe still out in front. As we wind towards the closing stages of the race and the closing stages of the Motocross des Nations for 1985. Kees van der Ven in 2nd place. And Jeff Ward in 3rd spot. Behind him, the Italian Magarotto. And then Ron Lechien. That's Bailey. He's down in 6th position. But that won't worry him too much. He'll be 4th in his class. And that's probably Dave Strybos. He's down in 9th place, followed by Jackie Vimont and the Portuguese rider Carlos Correia, who had that accident earlier on. 54 is Christoph Husser from Switzerland. They're well out of the hunt. And number 5, Jackie Martins from Belgium. But there's the leader, David Thorpe. No close race in this heat. Second man, Kees van der Ven, is well beaten. Only a serious mistake by Thorpe can rob him of victory now. As Jeff Ward goes through in third place. That's Leif Persson from Sweden trying to hold off the challenge of Magarotto. As Lechien goes through, and that's Bailey. Down in sixth position, Dave Strybos. And back in the lead, it's David Thorpe. Being oh so careful now, he doesn't want to make any mistakes at all. Kees van der Ven, he's not going to risk anything going for the lead. Second place is quite good enough to give his Dutch team second place overall. Jeff Ward, first in the 250 class, so he's quite happy with that. Provided he stays in that position, that'll be 3 out of 3 for him. 3 class wins. While this man, Ron Lechien, his result sheet was only spoiled by his first race, where he had that dreadful start. David Bailey, second in the first race, third in the second, and now fourth in his class in this final encounter. 14, Kurt Lundqvist from Finland. And number 7, David Thorpe. Next year he'll be swapping that number 7 for the number 1 plate in the 500 Grand Prix. Ronnie Lechien, 4th overall on a 125, much to everybody's surprise. He's proved beyond doubt that the new format Motocross des Nations works and works well. As David Thorpe, now in the closing stages of the race, he's biding his time, he's counting the minutes until that 2-lap board goes out. Be kept well informed by his mechanic, who also just happens to be his dad. Ron Lechien, just look at the aggression there, hunched over the bars, determined as ever. These American riders really have the right attitude to the sport, very aggressive, very determined. The word second just isn't in their vocabulary. Winning is all they know. David Thorpe first got on a motorcycle at the age of 2. And he's been perfecting the art of racing them ever since. Rode in his first competitive race at 6 years of age, won his first British Championship at the age of 8. And now has a world title to add to that. A world title, that's something that Jeff Ward and Ron Lechien still have to come. As has David Bailey. They've decided to concentrate their career in the United States, where there's big money to be earned on the AMA National Circuit, from Stadium Cross and from conventional races like this. That's Dave Thorpe still out in front. Kees van der Ven still in second place. As Dave Thorpe leaps across the line to start his last lap, followed by van der Ven. Less than a mile now to the checkered flag, also for this man Jeff Ward. And here's the man who's going to make it 2 wins out of 3, David Thorpe. Followed by Kees van der Ven, will be leading the Dutch to an almost certain second place in the Motocross des Nations. And here's the team captain of what looks certain to be the winning team, the USA. That's David Bailey. Jeff Ward on the 250 Kawasaki. And the 125 member of that team, Ronnie Lechien. As David Thorpe, just 3 or 4 turns now to win the final race in this 1985 Motocross des Nations. England may not have won, but Thorpe's proved that he's worthy of the title, world champion. Kees van der Ven crosses the line in second spot. And Jeff Ward is third. He's in no danger at all from fourth man and teammate Ron Lechien on the 125 Honda. Lechien will be well pleased with that fourth place against some much more powerful machinery. So the 500cc leaders, Dave Thorpe, Kees van der Ven, Michele Magarotto, David Bailey, Soren Mortensen and Jackie Vimor. 250 class, it's Jeff Ward from America, Roland Diepold of Germany, Kurt Lundqvist from Finland, Jackie Martins of Belgium, Zdeněk Spacek from Czechoslovakia and Olivier Perrin of France. 2.5cc category, it's Ron Lechien of America, Pekka Väkkönen from Finland, Corrado Mardi of Italy, Davy Strybos of Holland, Dietmar Lacker of Germany and Britain's Rob Andrews in 6th place.
Best American performer, Jeff Ward, a terrific performance again from the USA.
All right, thank you.
Just tell me about those 3 wins. Did you have any problem at all? 3 class wins, I should say.
No, not at all. The guys in my class were probably 30 to 40 seconds back. I never even saw one at 250 the whole race. I got some very good starts, so I was up there with the 500 class and tried to ride with them. I think the first moto I could have beat them, but my brake lever bent back 3 times. I kept kicking it back, and then finally the last time there's no way. So then the second moto, the rain kind of came, and we haven't raced in rain in 2 years, so Europeans are very fast when it gets slippery, and so I just I'm too cautious in the slippery stuff, and they seem to just, and they rode really well, David Thorpe and the other rider.
So the American team must be pretty pleased with this 5th victory in a row.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a tough race to win, and gotta give it 100% the whole time we're out there, and I know I did. I feel it now, and we work together really well. I think that's one of the reasons why we win every year. We're not close during the year, but we get along, and then we come over here, we can really work together, so it works out good.
And are you going to be back in 86?
If everything goes good next year, I just seem to be fast enough, so hopefully, yeah, I'll be back if they want me to.
I will look forward to seeing you then.
All right, thank you.
The only man to beat Dave Thorpe today, Kees van der Ven. Tell us about that second race.
Yeah, well, there's 2 parts where I was faster than Dave. And the first time I passed him on the first place, and then with the lap driver, he passed me again because the lap driver pushed me out. And then I was 1 part more, and when I can be in his back wheel, it was for me possible to take him. And yeah, I was 1 time the last lap in his wheel, and I take him, that's no problem. It was only on the jump, it was a really stick bump. And I take my front wheel up and go to the jump, and Dave drives normal. And that was the speed what he, some speed what he go slower.
And a pretty good result for Holland too today.
Yeah, we have for the 250 guy was the baddest one from Holland, and yeah, it's good enough. Second place for Holland is good, but it was possible for us to be first, but then we need more first places, huh?
Dave Thorpe, maybe not the greatest day for Britain, but a superb day for yourself. Tell us about those 3 races.
Yeah, I was really pleased to win today. In the first race it was difficult because not racing against the Americans regularly, I didn't really know how fast to go or how hard to try. So when they went by me, I didn't make such a fight of it originally. I let them get away and followed them for a lap, and realised that they were trying and I wasn't trying so hard. So I decided to go back by them and see what they could do. Unfortunately for me, they didn't do anything. And then the second race, I was riding okay, but I wasn't going on. I was just like trying to keep the same distance from Kees, and that's not a good thing from my point of view. And right at the end, he had a better line than me, and he sort of zapped me, really. We made a small mistake within ourselves because I had a signal there was 3 laps to go, whereas there was only 2, and I didn't know that. So that's we're allowing one mistake this year anyway.
But you made up for it in the 3rd race.
Yeah, in the 3rd race I was determined to win comfortably, and I just let Kees go around in front for a lap, and then I decided to go past him and try a little bit. And I tried for like 15 minutes and then it worked out.
The final point standings, as expected, a resounding win for the Americans on 7 points. Holland a second with 12, West Germany third on 22, with Italy in fourth place, 7 points behind on 29, and Great Britain a remarkable result in fifth place on 31 points. Runners-up Holland, with Kees van der Ven, Dave Strybos and Gert-Jan van Doorn, and in third place the German team as the Americans celebrate their 5th victory in a row.